So if you have health insurance provided through your employer, or that you purchase yourself because you're self-employed, or your employer doesn't provide it, and it's not subsidized, then the scope of what those insurance companies tend to cover is slightly more broad than what Medicare covers or Minnesota Care. Generally, those policies cover examination. So when you present as a new patient or with a new complaint or a new injury, we are required ethically and by law to conduct an examination so that we can render appropriate diagnosis, pick treatments that we think will be safe and effective, and rule out any contraindications that would prevent us from providing chiropractic care in a safe and effective way. So most traditional insurers cover examinations. They cover adjustments to the neck and back and spinal regions. They often cover adjustments to the extremities, so shoulders, elbows, knees, hips, things like that. They often also cover physiotherapies. So ultrasound, electric muscle stim, hands-on release of trigger points and tight muscles. Sometimes they cover acupuncture. That can be a some do, some don't type treatment. But those therapies, adjustments, and regions do tend to be covered through traditional insurers. If you are using a traditional insurance policy, your coverage specifically can really vary. Some people have deductibles where they have to pay an out-of-pocket fee before their coverage kicks in. Sometimes those deductibles are, $100 or $250 up to $2,000, $4,000, $12,000. In the case that you have a large deductible, it may benefit you to pay out of pocket at the same day rate as opposed to our contracted rate. So when we agree to be a network with an insurer, they dictate how much they're willing to pay for services, and that varies from insurer to insurer. And coverage for what your specific policy varies from policy to policy. So it's very difficult for us to predict what your out-of-pocket expense will be when we are billing insurance. If that's something that's important to you to explore, we're happy to give you the billing codes and the diagnosis codes that we most commonly use, so that you can contact your insurer and figure out what your out-of-pocket might be. If you're interested, we have an additional sheet that you can print off as a guide so that when you call your insurer, you can get all of your questions answered, and it will help you really narrow into the best answer. Last thing I want to say about traditional insurers is that if you have a copay, typically it's due at the time of service. Some people have a co-insurance amount, in which case we submit the claim to your insurer. They send back an evidence of benefit, and 80% is paid by the insurer and maybe 20% is the obligation of the patient. In that case, when you are in for an appointment, if we know that you have a balance due, we will collect it at the time of service. And if we don't hear from you, we will contact you with an invoice. So that is how traditional insurance tends to work. Like I said, we have a guide so that you can have a helpful or informative discussion with your particular insurer. And the last thing I want to say about a traditional health insurance is that they cover treatment for acute conditions, which means a painful or limiting condition that you have that when we provide care improves, and that when we remove care, you maintain the benefit of. So if we do regular care once a month, every 2 weeks, for an extended period, and you seem to get better, but over time then your symptoms kind of get worse and then you need to come back in, that type of care can fall into the category of maintenance. So when we are maintaining a chronic condition, we're not seeing that continued progress and holding, then it can fall outside the scope of your benefits. So if that's the case, we are happy to talk with you about that and explore alternatives and ways that you can continue to get the care that you need in an affordable way. So we do have same-day discounts for out-of-pocket payments that we can offer you that make chiropractic care and the care that we provide here in the clinic very affordable. So it's our goal to make sure that you always get the care that you need in a way that is appropriate and affordable. So I hope that helps enlighten you to some of the most common questions we get answered. Thanks.